some more from the top Democrat of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff of California. Congressman, North Korea's foreign minister today said President Trump has lit the wick of war, that his speech at the UN was insane. How concerned are you about how Kim Jong-un's regime is interpreting President Trump's words?
Well, I'm both concerned with the chance for miscalculation, but also concerned that clearly the administration doesn't have its act together. It's not operating all on the same page. You have the president criticizing the Secretary of State, who's potentially in a different place than the UN ambassador, maybe a different place than our Secretary of Defense. If we're going to put the pressure on North Korea and the pressure on China that we need to force North Korea to the negotiating table, because that's the only way you resolve this diplomatically, we need to be all on the same page, not only with our allies, but internally, and that just doesn't seem to be the case.
It's a serious, serious problem. Let's turn to what your committee, the House Intelligence Committee, is working on. Today, your committee had a chance to focus in on the Russia investigation, and you met with the Facebook COO, Sheryl Sandberg. In light of the Facebook sale of political ads to Russian troll farms, as they're called, what questions did you raise with her?
Well, we wanted to know when Facebook discovered the Russian use of their platform. Initially, they had thought there wasn't such activity. Now, obviously, there is. But we also want to know more than the advertising. There was a lot of organic content on the platform that went well beyond the advertising. So at this point, we only know that one universe of activity. But there was, I think, a lot more engagement by the Russians just on that one platform. We also want to know what kind of cooperation they're getting from the intelligence community, how we can have a better flow of information so that when we find foreign nation-state actors misusing their platform, there's a way to let them know. And we also talked about our desire to show the American people ads, and Mr. Conaway and I have decided to do that. We're going to be working with Facebook to get them to scrub personal information out of the ads, and then we hope to share them with the public.
And Facebook is ready to go for that, right?
Yes, they're more than willing to have us do that, and they're more than willing to help us in the preparation of the ads.
Why is it so important that we all see these ads right now?
Well, when you look at them, they are...
You've seen them, right?
I have seen them, and they are so cynical in their efforts to exploit divisions within our society. They're what you would expect of a Kremlin hand running this campaign. And Americans should be aware this is what foreign actors are doing. But more than that, the Russians think that these divisions are a vulnerability, are a weakness of ours. And they're right. And they're exploiting it. And I think being armed with better information about what the Russians do will help us protect ourselves.
So when we, the American public, we see these ads, will it change minds out there when they see what the Russians were up to in meddling in the U.S. presidential election?
You know, I think a couple of things will happen. On Twitter, the majority of the ads that I've seen were all very slanted against Hillary Clinton. Some of the Facebook ads cut in a political direction. Most of the Facebook ads were really just designed to sow discord. The intelligence community back in January concluded the Russians had three objects. Yes, it was about helping Trump and hurting Hillary, but more fundamentally, it was about withering away our democracy, sowing discord. And that's really the gravamen of what these ads on Facebook were attempting to do. I think people will be repelled by them and also recognize, to the degree anybody still has a question about this, and evidently there are some in the White House who still do, Russia is not our friend, does not mean us well, and in fact means to tear us apart. Speaking
about democracy, on the issue of freedom of the press, today in the Oval Office, President Trump said he believes media outlets, mainstream major news organizations, make up their sources. Following a tweet earlier in the day, he put this up on Twitter: with all of the fake news coming out of NBC and the networks, at what point is it appropriate to challenge their license? Bad for country. Is that appropriate for the president to be raising the possibility of shutting down a news organization like NBC News, raising questions about the license they have?
Of course not. And it harkens back to when he described the mainstream press as the enemy of the people. The president asked at what point is it appropriate to take away a news outlet's license because they criticize the president. I can tell him the point. It's the point where we become a dictatorship and we're no longer a democracy and we have no First Amendment. And we're never going to allow that to happen here.
Congressman Adam Schiff of California, thank you.
Thanks, Wolf.